Welcome back to another installment of Replay or Reject, PlayStation Classic Edition. Just a quick recap, I'm giving each game on the PlayStation Classic 1 hour to win me over. After that hour, I'll make my determination on whether the game would be worth replaying in the future, or if it will get added to my ever-growing list of reject games that I never want to play again. There's only one game on this list that I've actually beaten before. The rest of them either I have barely played, never played, or never even heard of. Well, that's enough preamble, so let's get to it. We finally make it to Resident Evil, which is the one game on the classic console that I have not only played, but have actually beaten. I can't remember the last time I played the PlayStation 1 version, though. Usually when I play Resident Evil 1, it's the GameCube remake. That version overhauled the graphics and the sound and everything to the point that even today, it feels sort of like a modern game. Unlike this. They did maintain the tank controls to keep it from being too perfect, but it is still probably the best version to play. It's not about playing superior remakes today, though. We're going back to the OG to see if it's still worth playing. At the start, we get to choose our character. We have either Chris Redfield, before he became that, or Jill Valentine. For what I remember, Jill is kind of like easy mode. She has more inventory spaces, and she starts off with a lockpick instead of having to find small keys. I think Chris has more health though, so late game he might be better. I'm not going to be getting that far in an hour though, so I'm going with my girl Jill just for the inventory space alone. Managing inventory is one of those things that was a major pain in the ass in the old Resident Evil games. Luckily by the time RE4 rolled around, the characters started investing in more pockets, but we're going to have to make do with limited space here. Unlike Metal Gear Solid or Final Fantasy where we got fancy CGI cutscenes, this game instead went for live action video for the intro, and my god is it glorious. It's so grainy and the voices don't match up with the video at all. It's as if they couldn't even afford boom mics, so they just shot it all and then tried to splice in the audio afterwards. I mean, we gotta remember again that this game came out almost 3 decades ago. We're all so spoiled now with our smartphones where we can take pictures and videos anytime we want. Back in the day though, electronics used to only do one thing. And from this picture from an old Sears wish book I found from 1996, a cheap personal VHS camcorder was almost $800, which in today money is like $1,600. And I like how they call out that it weighs less than 5 pounds. It's basically weightless. Okay, enough ripping on the 90s. After that cutscene, we make our way into the mansion and immediately fail at Horror 101.
Hold up! How come every time some scary shit happen that we need to stick together, you white people always say let's split up?
Heading down the hallway now, we run into our first zombie. We gun him down, but the little ankle biter gets in a few chomps anyway. So we kick his head off and get a pretty good amount of blood. This was probably pretty gruesome at the time when you're comparing it to the stuff like Mario and Pokemon and the more family-friendly games of the day. Running back out to find Barry, we tell him what we saw, and that same zombie bursts through the door. Bro, didn't I just punt your head off? Classic Resident Evil, starting off with the plot holes already. So Barry takes him out this time, and then afterwards we run out to the main hall where everyone's gone. So we do the smartest thing we can after splitting up at the beginning, and we split up even more. Making our way down another hallway, I knew it was coming, but it still got me. Both times. This hallway is one of those great examples of the style choices in the game. The pre-rendered backgrounds and fixed camera angles were probably at least partially due to system limitations, even though some other games did have full 3D environments. But they also allow for great cinematography. The camera was in the perfect spot for both of those jump scares to make sure the player sees the scene exactly as they intended. A little bit further in, we find a shotgun. Nice. We got our first weapon upgrade pretty early on, and there won't be any consequences to grabbing it either. I'm sure of it. I mean, the rack holding it did just move up as if some kind of switch were activated, but it's probably nothing. Let's go back into that next room and... oh no! So it definitely has been a while since I played this game, because I was in this room and I was like, shit, aren't I supposed to use a broken shotgun or something to hold down the switch after I grab the working gun? I thought I was going to get a legit game over here, but luckily for me...
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
After seeing yet another reason of why we should probably stick together, Barry's just like, nah, and he heads off, so we make our way to the first puzzle of the game. I kind of remember this one being harder than it was, but maybe it's because I'm older and wiser, or maybe I partially remember it because my brain tends to think stuff like this is important info to hang on to, while letting me forget how to add fractions. I press all the buttons under the paintings in the correct order, and I'm rewarded with a star crest. Now time to get out of here before those birds get too jumpy. Again, the camera angles really help put you on edge because you don't know what they're plotting up there. Heading outside, luckily we have somewhere to put the crest already. A, because that means we're making progression, and B, that clears up the inventory space. See, we're barely into the game and we're already starting to run out of room. Not too long after that, I also find the first save room with the all-important item box. You can store extra items in these, and somehow all the boxes through the game are magically connected through some kind of teleportation wormhole thing. They never explain it. Having cleared some space and saved, back out we go. There wasn't much else I could do for this part of the mansion for the time being, so I headed back to the main hallway just to see what Barry was up to. He hasn't found much, and this time it's Jill with the bright idea to split up. Again.
We gonna die, yo.
Going back to the other side of the mansion, we grab an emblem and then find a piano. Thankfully there's no bloody fingerprint bird puzzle this time. Jill, on top of being the master of unlocking, is also apparently an accomplished pianist, and is able to unlock a hidden passageway forward with the power of song. There's some kind of metaphor there about the arts creating pathways or something, but hey, I'm just here to kill zombies. I grab the gold emblem this time and take it back to the fireplace, which then causes the clock to move, which then nets us a key. This takes me back. The overly complicated steps it takes just to get a key in one of these games. I know really all it is padding out the game time, but I still enjoy it. None of the doors down here seem to open though, so I head up to the second floor finally. Up here, I capped some more zombies, and unleashed my inner cat by pushing a statue off the ledge for no reason other than because I can. My petty act of vandalism paid off though, as I was able to get a blue jewel out of the rubble. And that's where I ran out of time.
No!
And I was actually kind of disappointed my hour was up already. I have played this game and I have beaten this game, but it's been so long that I genuinely wasn't sure what my final verdict would be when I started. I'm definitely calling this one a replay though. Out of the original trilogy, undoubtedly Resident Evil 2 is the best, and I've played that game a ridiculous amount of times, all 4 scenarios. What that means though is that the second game has a lot more stuff that I remember. A few things were clicking into place as I was making my way through the mansion, but overall it's not like I remember step by step what happens in this game. The dialogue's cheesy and it's got tank controls, but I barely had any actual notes on this one afterwards because I was too busy simply playing the game. I think it'll be fun to go back to the beginning and replay through the first game in a series that, even though it dealt with zombies, always made sure to keep itself fully grounded in reality. And never strayed from its roots.